Somewhere beyond the curve of time, in the cold breath between galaxies, there is a silence so deep it hums. A void not of emptiness, but of something missing. Not a lack of stars, for there are trillions, nor a shortage of planets, for there are countless more, but an absence far louder than space should allow. It is the quiet that follows after a voice has ceased to speak, the haunting stillness that lingers when a question is asked, and no answer comes back. In all directions the cosmos stretches, ancient, endless, radiant, and yet no one replies. We are surrounded by the ingredients for life, cradled in a universe rich with potential, and still we are alone. Or worse, we are not one but too late. The stars have watched for 13 billion years. They have seen galaxies bloom and collapse, seen worlds burn and freeze, seen the birth of intelligence and the final flicker of hope. If they could remember, they would tell us stories. Stories of civilizations rising like sparks in a storm, glowing for moments on cosmic timescales, and then vanishing into the black. Some never made it beyond their cradles. Some may have reached the stars, only to fade in ways we cannot yet imagine. And yet here we are, human and trembling, standing on the edge of becoming, wondering if we too will disappear, because somewhere out there, scattered like ancient tombstones across the night, lies a truth darker than the void itself. A barrier, a silence, a filter, one that no voice has crossed and lived to echo beyond it. In the black between stars, where the light of a trillion suns fails to reach, there are places so still they seem forgotten by the fabric of time. There, in the ancient wounds of collapsing galaxies and the whispering trails of evaporating black holes, the universe wears its oldest face. One not meant to be seen, only felt. A presence cold and vast, staring back with eyes made of silence. To gaze into these depths is to fall through layers of history not written in books or memory, but in frozen light and radioactive echoes. Each particle adrift in this emptiness carries the ashes of stars that died before Earth ever had a name. And somewhere in that quiet drift, something waits, not in the sense of time, but in the way a grave waits for footsteps that never come. It is in this backdrop of infinite distance that a strange truth begins to flicker. Everything in nature seems to build toward life. The universe is not hostile to it. In fact, it is ripe with the elements that compose it. Hydrogen, nitrogen, iron. The bones of existence are everywhere. Planets formed by the billions, water flows across surfaces older than language, and stars warm their worlds like silent guardians. We should not be rare. We should not be alone. If even one in a million galaxies harbors life like ours, there should be echoes by now. Lights blinking from across the void. Signals, or structures, or ruins. But there is nothing. Not the remnants of ancient spacefaring empires, not the haunted shells of dying machines, no great markers carved into moons or monoliths drifting in the dark. Only silence, draped over the cosmos like a burial shroud. This silence is not peaceful, it is not kind. It is the kind of silence that gnaws at meaning, because the math defies the emptiness. The Drake equation, long ago, painted a universe buzzing with possibility. Even the most conservative estimates leave us with hundreds, thousands, of possible intelligent civilizations that should be visible. The universe is old enough for life to not only arise, but to flourish, to expand, to leave marks. Yet the sky remains mute. We call this the Fermi paradox, the contradiction between the high probability of alien civilizations and the total absence of evidence for them. Enrico Fermi posed it in a question as simple as it is terrible. Where is everybody? It is not the question of a child lost in the dark. It is the question of a mind staring at an open door that should not be open, because the paradox implies not merely absence, but danger, a warning quiet, unfathomable. Something is not adding up, and whatever force is at work, whether physical, philosophical, or something beyond human comprehension, has left a trail of extinction behind it, not traceable, but felt like a cold breath on the back of the neck. We are speaking into a cathedral with no echoes, a hall of mirrors where no reflection returns. And as we build our machines, fire our probes, listen for whispers among the static, we are beginning to realize the shape of what might be out there, or what might be waiting for us not to arrive, but to vanish. Look further and the cosmos does not comfort. It unsettles. A black hole spins at the center of our galaxy, its hunger patient and absolute. Time bends near its edge, stretched into threads thinner than thought. On the rim of Sagittarius AA, where gravity unravels space into a silent scream, the light of stars breaks and flows into nothing. This is not metaphor. This is the architecture of the universe, a place where information, the very fabric of identity and memory, can fall and never return. What else could be lost there? What has already been? We do not know. And yet, the galaxy revolves around it, like a funeral procession orbiting an unmarked grave. In another corner of space, a star dies with no witness. It bloats, breathes out its outer layers, and collapses into a neutron core. A city-sized sphere of matter so dense a teaspoon would weigh more than Mount Everest. Its light will travel for 1,000 years before touching any eye. And maybe on a distant world, some being will feel its warmth, not knowing it is the last breath of something magnificent. Or maybe nothing will feel it at all. The odds favor nothing. Most light dies in the dark. There are galaxies older than our planet, spinning in silence, with billions of stars and untold histories. Some are merging, tearing themselves apart in gravitational fury. Others drift alone, light years from their nearest neighbor, like exiled empires whose names have been forgotten. In every one of them, the conditions for life could have been met. But where are the monuments? Where are the songs? Where are the machines? The beacons? The ruins? The sky should be cluttered with the debris of ambition. Orbital rings, solar megastructures, Dyson spheres eclipsing entire stars. But the stars shine naked, untouched, as though no mind has ever dared to harness their power. Perhaps they tried. Perhaps every civilization reaches a point, a moment, a mirror, where it must pass through something it does not see. Not a wall of firestone, but a filter, silent, unseen but absolute. A point beyond which intelligence cannot cross. It may be behind us, in the billions of years of unlikely evolution that shaped us. Or it may still lie ahead, waiting. This idea, whispered by scientists and thinkers like a myth too dangerous to say aloud, is known as the Great Filter. It is not a force or a creature, but a concept. A threshold that life must survive to become something more. And almost no one does. Somewhere in the long chain of becoming, from molecules to consciousness, from tools to spaceflight, there is a step so hard, so unlikely, or so fatal, that nearly all who attempt it fail, not with fireworks or screams, but with silence, with fading light, with disappearance. And the most terrifying possibility is this: if we are not the first, then we may already be too late. If others reached this point and vanished, it means the filter lies ahead, still waiting to claim us. Perhaps it comes in the form of our own making machines smarter than their creators, climate collapse, or weapons that end not just nations, but narratives. Or perhaps it comes from without, a cosmic danger we do not yet recognize, poet predator, or a natural catastrophe written in the laws of physics, gamma-ray bursts, rogue AI vacuum decay, all possible, all final. But the filter could be more subtle, not an explosion but a dimming, a slow forgetfulness, a cultural decay, a loss of curiosity. Civilizations might not die in flames but in sleep, drifting into comfort, drowning in simulation, forgetting how to look up. Perhaps they sealed themselves inside perfect worlds and never came back. Perhaps their last words were, "This is enough." And so, as we peer into the black between stars, a question forms not from wonder, but from dread. If the universe is full of potential, and we are here, why does it look like nothing else ever was? The stars do not answer. They burn on, impartial and ancient, keeping the secrets of those who may have tried and failed. Their light reaches us across time, but not their stories. We are left with silence and a shadow in the shape of something missing. What if we are already inside the filter? What if this moment, this century, this fragile heartbeat of progress, is the crossing point? We do not know, and perhaps we cannot. But in the stillness of the cosmos, where galaxies bloom and die like distant flowers, one truth presses against the glass of our understanding. Everything we love, everything we are, may be a flicker, and the darkness has no memory of sparks. Time in the universe does not pass like time on Earth. It does not march forward in a straight line with clocks and calendars. It drips, it stretches, it bends around gravity and slows beneath light. In the presence of great mass, stars, black holes, clusters of galaxies, time becomes elastic. 1 second for a voyager near the edge of a supermassive black hole may pass as 1,000 years for a drifting particle far away. This is not fiction. It is the shape of reality, described not by poets, but by physicists, etched in the equations of general relativity. And yet, the implications are deeply human. If time is not fixed, then neither is destiny. If clocks can disagree, then so can truths. What is the age of a civilization that lives near the maw of a collapsed star? What does survival mean when the laws of time differ across the cosmos? One can endure for eons, frozen in gravitational slumber, and still be a ghost before it wakes. The stars whisper, Thea's time is not your own. It belongs to the structure of the universe, and you are only borrowing it. Across the spiral arms of the Milky Way, stars die every moment. Not with violence, but with beauty. A red giant blooms into space, casting off its skin into elegant nebulae. Smoke and fire and vacuum, leaving behind a white dwarf, a hot cinder that will fade for trillions of years. Elsewhere, a massive star dies young, collapsing inward until nothing remains but gravity. A black hole. Some stars explode in cataclysm, creating the very atoms in your bonus iron from their cores, calcium from their ashes. You are made of their ending. But they are indifferent. They do not miss you. They do not know. Their silence is not cruel. It is simply complete. And in this silence, the riddle deepens, because we know that planets orbit these stars. Many are old, older than Earth. Some have water. Some exist in the habitable zone, where warmth and light could cradle life. But the more we search, the more we discover a pattern more chilling than emptiness is potential everywhere and presence nowhere. The Kepler Space Telescope gave us numbers, not answers. It peered at a patch of sky and found thousands of planets, many Earth-like, some older than Earth itself. Statistically, this means our galaxy alone could host billions of potentially habitable worlds. Yet not one has revealed life, not even primitive biosignatures. We scan for oxygen, methane chlorophyll, traces of breath, bloom, decay. Nothing. We aim radio telescopes toward the sky, listening for patterns that betray intelligence. Structured signals, alien mathematics, static. Every whisper collapses under analysis. Even the famous wow signal, that one brief blip of anomaly, came and went with no follow-up, like a scream in a dream heard once and never again. Perhaps it was real, perhaps not, we don't know. And this unknowing is not passive. It grows heavier each year, because the silence contradicts the science. By all logic, life should be common. The elements are universal. Chemistry is not local. The reactions that formed amino acids in Earth's early oceans can happen on Europa, on Enceladus, on exoplanets circling red dwarfs. Extremophiles, creatures that thrive in boiling acid or frozen methane, show us that life is not fragile, but stubborn. It adapts, it endures. So why does intelligence seem rare? Why do we not see alien ruins on the moon? Why are there no robotic probes drifting through our solar system, placed there by ancient watchers? If a single civilization survived long enough to master interstellar travel, even at sublight speeds, it could colonize the galaxy in a few million years. The Milky Way is 13 billion years old. There has been time. There has been too much time. We are forced to entertain darker possibilities. One is entropy, the universal law of decay. In all things, order tends to disorder. Energy spreads, structures dissolve, stars burn out, memory fades. The second law of thermodynamics is not just a law of physics. It is a sentence written across every dream of permanence. No machine lasts forever. No culture resists time, even light. Eventually, things into cold radiation. And in this framework, a civilization may collapse not from disaster, but from exhaustion. It may reach a peak, a golden age, and then slowly unravel. Energy runs thin, ambition cools, knowledge becomes myth, myth becomes dust. A planet may still orbit its star, but its cities will crumble beneath forests or deserts. Its signals will die in the static. In 1,000 years, no trace remains. In 1,000,000, even its monuments are gone. In 1,000,000,000, its sun swallows the bones. But entropy alone cannot explain the void. There is too much space, too much opportunity. If even one species escaped its cradle, entropy would not stop it from leaving breadcrumbs. Perhaps we are looking too soon, but perhaps we are looking too late. What if the galaxy was once full of voices of life, of art, and we are walking through a graveyard, mistaking it for wilderness? Every signal we send into space may be like speaking in a language long extinct, hoping someone still listens. But the listeners may be gone, their stars faded, their homes torn by gravity, their names forgotten not just by others, but by the cosmos itself. Another possibility emerges, one that disturbs not through violence, but through misalignment. What if intelligence tends not toward exploration, but inward retreat? What if advanced species create perfect simulations? Realities so immersive, so fulfilling, that no one returns to the physical world. They become gods of their own minds, eternal in digital nirvana. They have no need to travel, no desire to contact others. They vanish without destruction. They simply stop. And from the outside, their planets remain intact. Quiet, cold, alive only in circuits, no beacons, no radio, no curiosity. We search the stars for neighbors, but they may be dreaming forever, uninterested in our knock at the door. Some scientists consider an even more paradoxical idea, that contact itself is forbidden. not by law but by nature. The zoo hypothesis proposes that civilizations exist but deliberately avoid us. We are observed, studied, but not interfered with, like animals in a preserve, unaware, unequipped to comprehend. To us, the sky is quiet, but to them, it is full. This sounds fantastical. But so did black holes once. So did relativity. So did the idea of Earth orbiting the sun. And yet each was true. The deeper we go, the more science resembles myth. Not because it is false, but because it confronts with truths too large for comfort. Time dilation near black holes means someone could travel for a week and return to a world 1,000 years older. Wormholes, if stable, could connect galaxies like doorways, but no such tunnels have appeared. The speed of light limits travel, but not imagination. And as we build stronger telescopes, we do not find certainty. We find more complexity. Galaxies too far apart to influence each other behave in unison, pulled by forces we do not understand. Dark matter surrounds us, invisible but real. Dark energy drives the expansion of the universe faster and faster, a runaway process no one can explain. Our models grow better, but the mystery grows faster. Each answer splits into more questions. Planetary formation, once thought rare, now appears almost automatic. Wherever there is a star, there are planets. Gas giants, rocky Earth, lava worlds, ocean worlds. Some orbit two stars like suns in a dream. Some are tidally locked when facing perpetual night. On some, rain falls as glass or iron or methane. But nowhere, not yet, have we found signs of thought. No cities beneath their clouds. No heat signatures from megastructures. Only chemistry, only weather, only silence. And yet, despite this silence, we know that we exist. This is not trivial. The probability of intelligent life emerging on any given planet is unknown. It may be nearly zero. The rare Earth hypothesis suggests that life like ours may be an incredible fluke requiring a perfect set of coincidences. A stable sun, a large moon, plate tectonics, a magnetic field, a Jupiter to deflect comets, and billions of years of relative calm. Perhaps we are the lottery winners in a game played only once. This does not make us lucky. It makes us fragile, precious, alone. If this is true, if the filter lies behind us, then our existence is miraculous. But if it lies ahead, then we are doomed. We are crossing a narrow bridge in the fog, and we do not know if the ground still lies beneath our next step. Intelligence may not be an advantage. It may be a trap, a self-destruct button pressed by curiosity. We invent weapons before wisdom. We build empires before ethics. We enter the planet before understanding its systems. We move fast, faster than evolution, faster than history can keep up. And perhaps that speed is the very thing that destroys civilizations. The fire burns brightest before the blackout. There is no final proof, only patterns. The more we study the universe, the more we learn that it does not bend to human intuition. It is not made for us. Its laws are elegant, but not forgiving. And every discovery cuts deeper into the myth of certainty. We believed the Earth was the center, then the sun, then the galaxy, then the visible universe. Each time we were displaced, each time the cosmos became colder, larger, more impersonal. And yet, the very act of knowing, of asking, gives us a strange dignity. We are small, but we are aware, and awareness is rare. Awareness may be the universe's way of seeing itself, briefly, in a human eye. Still, the question burns. If others saw what we see, built what we build, wondered as we wonder, where did they go? What did they find that silenced them? What truth waits on the other side of the stars, too vast or too final to return from? And if we are the only ones who still ask, what does that make us? Survivors, or the next to vanish? The cosmos remains quiet, but not empty. It is full of tension, of promise, of echoes just out of reach. Every equation we solve only opens a deeper riddle. Every observation, a mirror, and behind that mirror, something stares back, not hostile, not kind, but true. The universe is watching, and it remembers what we do not. You are here, spinning on a silent rock, wrapped in thin air, orbiting a star you did not choose, in a galaxy you cannot see, inside a universe you do not understand. This is not your home. This is your accident. And the sky is not empty. It is overflowing with absence. For years, we looked up with hope. We believed the void would answer, that the silence was temporary, that we had simply not listened long enough, not built the right tools, not opened the correct window in time. But the silence did not fade. It grew louder, deeper, more articulate, like a language without words, a presence defined by what it withholds. This is the realization. You were not made to be answered. You were made to wonder. And in that wondering, you began to see, not the stars, not the galaxies, not even the elegant threads of physics weaving time and matter together. No, You saw the mirror, and in the mirror you saw yourself. A fluke. A breath inside a chaos that doesn't breathe. A structure that thinks in a field that doesn't care. Life as you know it is not inevitable. It is not even probable. It is a crack in the surface tension of a dead ocean. A flicker of warmth in a room designed to be cold. The laws of the universe do not lean toward resist it. Gravity collapses. Entropy dismantles. Radiation erases. And yet here you are. And so the thought comes, not that we are alone, but that we are the last, not the chosen, the remainder. The scream after the symphony. The echo that forgot the voice that made it. There may have been others. Builders of stars, architects of matter, minds that saw dimensions we cannot name. But they are gone. Or silent. Or dreaming so deeply they no longer know how to wake. And if they left messages, they left them in forms we do not recognize. If they watched us, they no longer care. And if they still live, they are not living as we understand it. They have shed the skin of biology. They are information without memory, consciousness without culture, gods without worship. The timeline burns with dread, because it bends toward disappearance. There is no law that says intelligence survives. In fact, all signs suggest the opposite. The smarter a species becomes, the faster it sees the void. The more it understands, the more it unravels itself. Fire becomes war. Medicine becomes control. Knowledge becomes weapon. We are not on a path. We are on a fuse. And the fuse is burning. You think you are moving forward, but space does not move. Time does not care. It flows through you, and it will wash you away. Your cities, your languages, your songs, your kindness, your cruelty, your hope, your grief. Every trace of you will vanish, not because you were small, but because the universe is too large to remember. Even light will die. That is not poetry. That is physics. In time, long after the last star fades, black holes will evaporate, particles will decay, matter will dissolve, the universe will become a flat, black, perfect silence. No heat, no time, no thought. A canvas so empty that even emptiness will forget it was ever full. And still you hope, still you ask, still you reach. This is not foolishness. This is the spark. This is the defiance. And maybe, this is the answer. Maybe the universe does not care. Maybe it was never meant to. But you do. And that difference, however small, is the thing that makes you matter. You feel you ache. You look up at the stars and weep for strangers you will never meet. You build instruments to hear voices that may not exist. You write stories of impossible beings, not because they are real, but because something in you needs them to be. That is not weakness. That is your fingerprint. That is your roar in the abyss. And perhaps, if anyone is still listening, it is not your intelligence they will remember. It is your longing. It is your failure, repeated endlessly, without surrender. It is the poetry of persistence. And so we stand at the edge of a cosmic cliff, peering into a night that does not end, and we scream names into it. Names of gods, of children, of futures we'll never see. We send golden records into space, attached with sounds of rain and birds and human breath. We build telescopes not to find answers, but to remind ourselves that we are still asking. And the haunting truth is this, and that may be enough, not to survive, not to win, but to mean something, even if only to ourselves. Because meaning was never given. It was made by minds like yours, by eyes that look into infinity and refuse to blink. You are not here to be saved, you are here to burn. And from that burning, the universe learns the shape of a question, one it did not know it needed to ask, until you asked it. The stars no longer feel like distant decorations in a sky painted for wonder. They feel like warnings. Silent, beautiful graves glowing with the heat of memory. Across the black they shine, each one a story that has already ended. Its light just now arriving, like a message from a ghost too far away to know who we are. And beneath them spins Earth, not a grand stage, not a chosen place, just one planet among countless others, but it is ours, the only one that has ever known us, the only one that has carried our laughter, our blood, our mistakes, our music. A pale blue breath curled in the darkness. When you step back far enough, Earth disappears. Its oceans, its mountains, its continents all dissolve into the background radiation of a universe that never noticed it. But when you come closer, when you see it not from the eyes of a god, but from the soul of a child, it becomes the most fragile, precious thing you've ever known. There is a forest where the wind hums in green silence, and a single seed lies buried in the soil. It does not know why it exists. It does not know the stars or time or death. But it grows. It reaches toward the sun, not because it understands, but because something inside it says go. That seed is us. We are not the product of some great design. We are the outcome of an ancient hunger, a longing built into atoms, the urge to become more than dust. And now, having seen the void, having understood the silence, we return to our seed, to our earth. And the question no longer is, are we alone? The question is what will we do with the time we have? Because the universe is not waiting. It is not offering second chances. The clock has always been ticking, and this small planet, with its thin air and warm oceans and delicate balance, is the only shelter we have ever known. We treat it like a stage, but it is a womb, and it can break. The same minds that unlocked the atom, the same hands that built machines to leave the earth, have also poisoned its rivers, shattered its ecosystems, and burned its sky. And yet, the same minds can also heal, can build anew, can choose a different path. The darkness has always been there, but so has the light, flickering, fragile, real. Imagine a child standing on the shore of a vast ocean. She holds a stone. She asks questions. She builds stories in the sand. She has never seen the stars through a telescope. She does not know the laws of thermodynamics, but she feels something when she watches the sun sink into the sea. Something holy, something eternal. She is the reason we must go on, not because she is innocent, but because she is becoming. Every child is a beginning, every generation a decision. In the face of entropy, we can still choose to create, to protect, to imagine, to love. The great filter may be ahead of us, or behind us, or within us, but its presence does not erase our freedom. In fact, it sharpens it. Knowing the universe does not care makes our care more sacred. Knowing time will erase us makes every gesture matter more. When you hold someone's hand, you are defying oblivion. When you teach, when you plant, when you mourn, you are pushing back against the tide that wants to forget you ever lived. And maybe that is the highest purpose we can have. Not to outlive the stars, but to fill our short moment with such beauty, such depth, that even if the universe forgets us, we do not forget each other. There are cities flickering at night, visible from space like glowing veins. In those cities there are people, billions of them, all dreaming, all afraid, all hoping for something more. Most will never meet. Most will never understand what holds the atoms of their bodies together. But they will laugh. They will cry. They will write names on walls and light candles in the dark. They will try. And that trying is the miracle, not the success, not the survival. The trying, to build something gentle in a universe of fire. To sing, even if no one is listening. The stars will fade. The galaxies will drift. One day this planet will be ash. But today, it is not. Today the sun is shining, the oceans breathe. Somewhere someone is falling in love. Somewhere else, someone is forgiving a wound that could have broken them. Somewhere a scientist is looking through a lens and discovering something no human has ever seen. Somewhere a child is being born, and with her, a new story begins. So we return to Earth not in despair, but in awe. It is not small because it is alone. It is sacred because it is rare, and that rarity is not a reason for fear. It is a call to care. To cherish, to wake each day with the awareness that this may be the only world in the universe that knows what kindness feels like. The only place where a mother holds her child and hums a song passed down through generations, survivors who dared to hope. And maybe that is enough. Maybe we do not need to be eternal. Maybe we just need to be kind while we are here. To build bridges instead of walls. To leave behind not monuments, but mercy. To treat each other as if we all carry the same fragile seed of starlight in our chest, because we do. And so the silence becomes something else. Not a threat, not an answer, but a space in which we can speak, a stage on which we can write our meaning. And though the universe will not remember, we will. We the flicker, we the story, we, the moment that looked into the dark and chose to bloom. There is a quiet that arrives only once everything else has ended. It is not the quiet of sleep or distance or peace. It is the quiet that follows the last heartbeat of a galaxy, the final flicker of a sun that has outlived its planets, its children, its own light. In that silence, there are no clocks, no language, no memory, only the trace, thin as breath, of what once was. And in that trace, something still lingers, a vibration, a shape, a question, perhaps, or a whisper, not loud enough to call, not sharp enough to name, just presence. Just the ghost of intention. If the universe could speak, this is how it would sound. Not with words, not with force, but with a presence so vast, so old, that it does not need to explain. It simply is, and in that being, it offers us nothing and everything. It gives us the cold, it gives us the heat, it gives us silence, and inside that silence, it leaves a hollow where meaning might grow. And we, fragile, temporary, absurd, we fill that hollow with stories, with love, with fear, with science, song, and sorrow, and the impossible hunger to matter in a place that never asked for us. The great filter is not a wall. It is not a door. It is not even a thing. It is the absence of answers, the echo where a voice should have been. It is the silence after the question has been asked and no one replies. It is the desert where countless civilizations may have bloomed and died, their light smothered by their own hands, or by the stars, or by time itself. It is the weight of all the lives that might have been, and were not. And yet we are here, against the odds, still asking, still listening, still burning. There is something strange in that, something holy, to be the ones who know they will die, and still build, to be the ones who know the stars will end, and still sing beneath them, to be the ones who know they are dust, and still reach for God. We do not need to outlast the universe to be part of it. We already are. Every breath we take pulls in atoms forged in the hearts of stars that died before Earth was born. Every cell we carry is a library of time, echoing with decisions made by ancestors who never saw the sky as we do. We are not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos, complicated into consciousness, folded into flesh. And maybe that is the only answer we were ever meant to find. Not a savior. Just this, the mirror, a fragile, fleeting awareness, staring into the void and recognizing its own reflection. Not with pride, not with fear, but with awe, quiet, unbreakable awe, the kind that does not need to be understood, only felt. So what remains? Not certainty, not safety, but this, the fragile shape of a question still unanswered, still open, still alive, like the glint of a single tear falling through starlight, or the moment before a word is spoken, or the breath of a universe that dreamed itself awake, and then waited in silence for someone to answer.